friends, and welcome to My Chemical Fancast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Haley.
And this is a podcast dedicated to all things My Chemical Romance. Today is our second revenge episode, and we also have a guest with us to help us talk about it.
The special guest.
Her name is Cassie Whitt, more commonly known in the fandom as Cassie the Venomous or Poison and Fire, and she was, to borrow a phrase from Gerard during the Ghost of You filming, in the shit during the revenge era. She is seen approximately 5 billion times and is the patron saint of the MCR fandom. Hello, Cassie.
You just called me the patron saint of the MCR fandom. And that is my new Twitter bio and new Instagram bio and my new everything. Hell yeah.
Not accurate, though.
Wow. Damn. That's the highest praise.
We need like a candle with your face on it. You know those saint candles?
Hell yeah, I have one burning right now.
Yes.
Of my face. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Need it. Wow.
So we're so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank God. We also have an interview with Cassie, which we're going to be releasing eventually.
Mm-hmm.
At some point. Maybe at the same time, maybe not. I don't know.
Might be
we haven't decided.
Might be a present.
But it's coming. Or it's here.
Yes.
Depending on what we decided on.
So we talk about how we know Cassie and how we came to know Cassie and all of that kind of thing in our interview with her. So for time-saving sake, we won't talk about it at the moment, but you will hear it, and it's a trip. The whole interview is a trip.
It's an issue. I talk about punching people, getting punched. It's great.
Just some of the highlights, some violence, you know.
Kind of a lot of violence, right? At the end.
Yeah.
It's fitting. Revenge was a very violent time.
That's true.
It was. So today for our Revenge, we're discussing probably 3 of the most iconic songs, I feel, on the album.
Yeah, it's like there's runs later in the album after the interlude, good musical runs, but these are the hardest hitting runs.
Yes.
Of 3 songs in a row, is what I mean.
Yes. One bop after another.
It's a marathon.
Yeah. Doesn't let up, my dude.
Mm-mm. And it starts with, you know what they do to guys like us in prison. One of my favorite songs. Yeah,
absolutely. One of the most iconic songs. It, formed the culture around some of their tours, I think. It impacted them and the scene and the fans, I think, so much, especially culture-wise, message-wise, that it... Oh, God, I love this song.
I am so excited to talk about this song for all of those reasons. In our interview that we just did, we talked a lot about the way that My Chemical Romance addressed their audience and queerness, and I think that this song has an integral part of their first making any sort of statement like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the first outwardly, really in-your-face statement, all right, this is it, this is how we feel, and this is what this band is about.
Yeah, there's homoeroticism is 1, a theme in MCR, and 2, definitely a strong theme in this song. And Gerard's very aware of it. It's quite intentional.
Yeah.
So I've got this quote from Alt Press. And I'm going to read you, it's a long interview, but I'm going to read you the last part. They're talking about prison, and Gerard says, I wanted, at the same time, for the record to be a testament to self-expression. And putting stuff in there that, while not being a homosexual myself, but expressing myself in a homosexual way is either going to push your buttons in a negative way or you're going to identify with it. Mm-hmm. It's weird that he used the word a homosexual, but...
homosexual. I am not a homosexual.
Not a homosexual.
They were back in the day, see, I was talking about this earlier, but back in the day, the lexicon that we had and the words that we had and the way that we spoke about queerness was just strange. It was, and there are a lot of old quotes from Gerard and from a lot of musicians in this time where you're huh? But it's just because we're so much more educated now, and but it's funny that he says, well, not a homosexual myself.
Right.
Why I am not.
Expressing myself like a homosexual.
Yeah, the way they talked about it was kind of strange, and it was very different, but it was normal at the time. If you heard this interview when it came out, it probably sounded totally normal. But reading it now and listening to it now, you're like, oh, that sounds weird.
But so I think they were using the homoeroticism aspect of the song and then later their performance, you know, in a provocative way. Because we talked about this in the interview, that they would say, if you're not welcoming, you're not fucking welcome.
Yeah.
And give like a fuck you to everyone else.
Right.
And they definitely did involve it in their live shows, because this is the song in their live shows where they go wild.
Yeah.
Google it. Where they go wild. Google it. So back in the day, so much of the Revenge era was Gerard talking about being a dangerous band and bringing like sex and danger back to music, because a lot of people were just, and this is like a sort of a quote from him where he was like, a lot of bands were just like writing songs about their girlfriends. They weren't telling stories. And they wanted to push people's buttons so much. And with, you know, what they do to guys like us in prison, it was like the right people would get it and they'd be like, that's fucked up. I love that. And then the wrong people would be like, that's fucked up, man. I don't like that. And we kind of discussed how it would scare away the right people. And one of the things that Gerard did say on Warped Tour in 2005, and I mentioned this into the interview, but it's important and I love it, was if any of the people in the audience, he was like, if any of you motherfuckers are sexist, racist, homophobic, I want you to smash our CD into 1,000 little pieces and get the fuck out, because you're not welcome here. And this song in particular, with like the homoerotic undertones, like the fact that Gerard like blatantly has introduced this song at shows about like, this song is about going to prison and getting fucked in the ass. Like, whoa, you what? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's really intense.
Like, boy, okay. Yeah. Or like, he even on Project Revolution, when he would be like, you know, just the boys, take your shirts off for this song. God, and that was a whole spiel where he would have the men in the audience. I didn't
write that in my notes.
He would have the men in the audience just like take off their shirts, and he had this like swagger about him, and it was like, fuck yeah, I'll kiss a dude. I don't give a shit. You got a problem with it? Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely to antagonize the people in the audience who had a problem with it. Yeah. And to kind of put it in their face and be like, all right, you got a problem with it, then you got a problem with me, so why are you here?
Yeah. He's even said that, because I think in their earlier shows, in Bullets Days and probably early Revenge, the demographics of their audience was a little bit different. And so he said before that Frank and Gerard like started kissing on stage, doing things with each other, because they would see dudes beating each other up at their shows, and they thought, wouldn't it be funny if they turned around and saw they were beating each other up to us kissing? Yeah. So it's definitely a fuck you.
Yeah. And then people started kind of getting into it, so they were like, we're not going to do that anymore, I think.
Let's have it out.
Yeah, it's definitely, and one of the things I had thought about as I was taking myself back to ye old 2004, as, you know, our conversation has changed over the years, and like, I don't think a lot of people these days would take too kindly to like the notion of stage gayness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it did exactly what they needed it to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people now would call them out and say like, oh, that's queer baiting, or like some, you know, queer baiting, if you're not familiar with the term, is basically it's mostly referred to on TV shows where the writers will put two characters in certain situations or make them interact with each other in a certain way that will make you think that they're gay, or make you think that they're going to get together, or, you know, that they're actually going to have some LGBTQ representation in the show, but they don't.
Psych. Nothing for you.
So a lot of people would probably call it queer baiting in terms of what they represent to their audience, and like, yeah, you know, they might try and pass off that we're queer people, but we're not, and that's problematic. But at the time, it was definitely necessary to who was coming to their shows, to make it very clear to them where they stood.
Mm-hmm. And Gerard also mentioned that this song and the performance of this song comes from being around dudes so much that he said, if you're around dudes so much, you start to actually lose your masculinity, especially because we're not the kind of band like Motley Crue where we fuck around with groupies or anything. So I think that's really interesting, and I'm not a dude, so I can't directly speak to that. But I do think there's something where, like, if you're in a band that's a lot of men in a van, like, together constantly, there's, like, an aspect of gender that is performance.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're with someone all the time, you don't have to perform your gender a lot, or, like, posture, like, that you're a dude, and you're, like, dude things. So I think this song also wants to directly give, like, the middle finger to people who aren't accepting, but I think it also wants to say fuck you to, like, gender stereotypes of, specifically with men, of that you can only be a dude, or especially only be a dude in a rock band if you are aggressive.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I think I switched
Something
tracks
like
in the
that.
middle of it.
Yeah.
He also spoke, I think, in the same interview. No, it was a different interview. Yeah, the same interview. About, you know, how the whole scene at that time was kind of in a homoerotic place. And he mentioned, like, some of the fashion at the time. Like, not necessarily homoerotic. I don't think that's the right word anymore. Like, it's more like, not gender normative.
Right.
Where, you know, men had their longer hair, they were wearing, like, tiny t-shirts and, like, women's jeans, like, traditionally feminine things.
Right.
Pink belts.
Yeah.
Yeah, pink belts. Oh. And, like, personally, I was in love with all of those boys. I'm in love with, like, all feminine boys. Like, it's a problem for me. But yeah, he was also, like, referring to that and how that was a big part of the culture as well. I don't know where I was going with that, but that was another thing that he mentioned. I know that much.
That is an important thing that he mentioned.
Yeah, and they played into that and how they looked, for sure, especially Frank, who, I mean, he wore makeup and pink belts and sometimes multiple belts. That was dumb. Remember that time he wore, like, 3 belts at a time?
I used to do that.
Oh my god.
No, okay, so here, I would wear the studded belt, and then I would wear a bullet belt that had the bat belt buckle on it. Oh my gosh.
Yes, that's the dream.
And eventually, like, I was a really good kid in school and no one really cared what I did, but then one day the yearbook teacher told on me, and so I couldn't wear my bullet belt anymore.
Because of the bullets? They didn't like the ammunition? Oh, man.
Right. Yeah. I could still wear the bat, so at least there was that.
What a shame.
That's something, at least.
Wah wah.
Yeah.
I think Frank also mentioned that, like, in high school, he dealt with people calling him a faggot and beating him up.
Right.
And I think that was something he dealt with when he was younger and playing in bands, of being perceived that way in a negative sense.
Yeah. Which is a little strange to me, because I feel like Frank is one of the more traditionally masculine, like, at least he's posed that way in the public eye as a little bit more of a traditionally masculine guy, and I think he purposely made himself not that way, because he wanted to be other, and he wanted to be like, yeah, no, fuck you, I'm not that.
And MCR, for sure, yeah. I think that's probably the case. But is now the time when we should talk about Bert? Yes?
We sure should.
Okay. So Bert does guest vocals on this track. He does the background screaming, and he also sings the part about the all cheated cards, that little section. And so, I think we've mentioned before that Burt McCracken and Gerard were close friends for a good amount of time in Revenge Days and Bullets Days. And there's this article by Andy Greenwald, which I'm going to read to you.
Okay.
And when I first read it, I don't know if you've already read it, but it blew my fucking mind when I first read it. It was after they broke up. He wrote this sort of retrospective article about them.
Okay.
But it includes this passage. One night, the two kept me in the room with them until dawn as they drained the minibar, sent the concierge out for smokes, and made increasingly frequent trips to the bathroom. Gerard later told me that bender was the inspiration for a song called You Don't Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison. There was a witness to this bender.
What?
Isn't that insane? That's nuts.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I always talk about this book because it's like the Bible for MCR fans, but it's not the life it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading it, and they talk about this song a lot.
Yeah.
In that book, and they said it was written from the point of view of cellmates, and it was inspired by the idea of, you know, life on the road and being cramped into a van with 8 guys and, you know, kind of feeling like you're in a prison cell. But he said that, or Gerard rather, said that sometimes it feels like a prison, but sometimes even the guys in prison, as fucked up and rough as it is, they buddy up and stick through it together. I think that's definitely one of the reasons I wanted Bert to sing on it, because he's one of the few people I met on the road and really connected with. He was like a cellmate in a way. He's already been through crazy rock star shit, and I'm just new to this. The song is definitely about that camaraderie and obviously touches on lost masculinity, which is where they talk about, you know, not being like Motley Crue kind of bands. And
yeah, I mean, like, Bert and Gerard, while Gerard was still using, definitely had a relationship in which they sort of egged each other on about doing bad things.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily what their friendship was based on, but it was like a large aspect of their friendship.
Yeah, I was part of it from the beginning, at least.
Yeah, there are certain interviews where the writer will sort of refer to it as, like, you know, as them sort of being that sort of, like, conduit for each other to do bad things.
Yeah.
Bad things, naughty boys. Edit that shit out.
No,
that shit in.
Not.
I love it.
We're keeping it.
Also, Gerard called this a cabaret song, which I'm
Hell
really
yeah,
into.
he did.
It definitely
Yes, he
has
did.
that. It has that, like, performative aspect of it, where you're like, you know, you're playing it up to the crowd. So
Yeah, it's like a burlesque.
yeah,
Which is wild to think about.
that's crazy.
Sometimes he has a bow for this, sometimes he doesn't, but when he does, it's a great time.
I mean, the recording of this itself was pretty sassy.
Yes.
So this motherfucker gets in a steaming hot vocal booth in a fucking attic, right?
Yeah.
And he
you
strips
do.
down to his goddamn skivvies. He's sweating. There's Clockwork Orange and also pornography playing behind him. And he's just like busting this out. Like, okay, Gerard, you do you, boo.
Yeah.
Fine. You're good. Sure.
He called
So,
it
like,
method acting.
Yeah, method acting.
What was he
And no, so a lot of the issue was
Questions.
he talked to he was sort of trying to figure out, as a performing artist, he was trying to figure out how to be in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And he and Howard Benson, you know, were trying to figure that out, and he came out of that room after this song just like the way he was, and it was like, aha, you found it. Here's how you do this. You just act a goddamn fool. Okay, Gerard, sure. Whatever works. You're
Honestly,
Yeah.
whatever works.
fine.
Well, whatever works, but I think that I mean, obviously it made a kick-ass song.
Yeah.
But I think he really committed to that method acting thing for a while, in Revenge and especially Parade. I think that ends up biting him in the ass later on, because he goes way too deep in Parade.
For sure. And especially during the Revenge time, he would refer to being that guy on stage. Like, that guy, that person. And a little bit toward the end of the era, he's, you know, discussing how it blurs, and especially when he was drinking, how it would blur, and how it became difficult to separate himself from that and then rediscover who he was without being, quote, that guy.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't work well for him.
Oh, Gerard. Gerard, you make my heart burn.
Okay, here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
So that part when Bob says that, and Frank says it's called Gerardalopoly.
Gerardalopoly!
Something in my brain switches on, is like, that's a reference to something, but I don't know what it's a reference to. Anyone? Does anyone know?
Nope.
It's something, I swear to God.
Not a clue.
I don't know what it is. Fuck. At Frank.
At Frank.
Please help. I know it's a reference to something.
That Frank.
Shall we talk about the song?
Yes, please do.
Okay, the fucking intro
Yes.
is so fucking good.
In the middle of a gunfight in the center of a restaurant. They say, come with your arms raised high.
It's got
I'm
piano
doing like
in
a
it.
little shoulder wiggle. It's been in my head the whole time. Like as soon as you said prison, I was like, din, din, din.
Yes.
Like I can't not.
Yeah.
This album has a lot of intros like that. Great intros.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love this intro. It gets you so hyped for the rest. There's piano in it, which goes with the cabaret aspect. And the bass kicks in when he says, be the same, which will probably clip in.
Yeah.
And that, like, you just hear the bass drumming underneath, and you get so fucking hyped for what you know is about to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never be the same on your mother's eyes. Say a prayer.
And it started with Ray just like sitting on a porch strumming that riff. And Gerard literally said to him, "Oh, that's really different. I think it's going to be about jail."
What?
He was like, and then so later when they recorded it, everyone was like, "Yeah, let's do that jail song."
Yeah. The fucking jail song.
And then when they went to record it, I guess that basically because the way that they record is, you know, Gerard will kind of like scat or freestyle over the music until he figures out the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that what he first freestyled over that kind of basically became the lyrics. So like it was jail at first sight, jail at first sing.
Oh my
I
gosh.
hate myself so much.
I love it.
I love it. Fuck. Yeah, okay, so the lyrics. So I went on Genius.com,
Yes.
and Genius.com
Oh god.
told me that this could fit into the Demolition Lovers storyline. And I can kind of see it, though I think that Gerard just, like, added that in as, like, a small dash and went on his regular prison thing.
Yeah.
I didn't care too much about that. But as far as the Demo Lovers storyline, I guess you can see it in, like, the first verse, where the dude is in a gunfight in a restaurant, gets caught,
Right.
finds a friend in prison, and then he's got that verse about lamenting that he can't save his lover's soul yet. Which also reinforces our theory that she's fucking dead,
Yes, it does.
as opposed to what Gerard said, but he was wrong.
Man, I don't know. I don't know now because I spent last night and today rereading articles and they all seem to say he's dead, she's not. And so the devil's like, do this mean shit and then you get to go to her.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It's just like, it's not, like, I say do this mean shit, like, it's an atrocity, like, kill 1,000 people. Mean shit, it's fine.
Mean shit.
We'll see how this develops in the album, because I think in, like, Cemetery Drive, probably, or maybe Jet Set Life, whichever is about climb out of the pine box.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fits into Demo Lovers yet, but so far I still feel like
I don't
Devon is winning.
believe you, Genius. I don't know. Genius says a lot of things.
Yes, it does.
a lot of
And
Genius
I'm
is
like,
garbage.
Where's your proof? Get out of here.
I need sources.
Where are your sources?
All right, this is going to start a trope for me in the podcast because I always talk about this. Gerard has a money note that he always goes to. And Kat knows this because I always mention it when we are listening to anything that he sings. His money note is A. And it's always, no matter what key the song is in, he makes A the money note. Like, the top note, the one that he belts out and, like, has full voice in. And it sounds incredible, but it's always A. And you listen to the songs and you're like, all right, let me pinpoint the highest note that's not the harmony. It's A.
Conspiracy. What is he trying to tell us?
I don't
He's screaming.
know.
It's
He's just
like,
screaming.
Ah.
Screaming like in the Not Okay video when he tackles Schecter.
Yes.
And he's just running. He's like, "Ah!"
I was going to talk about that too.
Yes. And he does it
Later.
It starts in this song. A starts in this song, and I think he does it in the next 3 songs. Like, It's just, and it continues throughout his entire career. And I love when he does this note, except he never does it live. Like very rarely does it live. I know he's busy and he's out of breath, and it's hard to do when you're out of breath. But he never does it live, which like I'm super bummed about. But you can tell like he's in tenor mode, because tenor, like if you belt out an A and you have that openness, you're a tenor. Like
I think every time you mention this, we're going to like just insert a clip of a piano just going A.
Just doing A.
And then someone will know what's coming. Speaking of the vocals, though, so auto-tune. It is here. It's not necessarily a problem. Howard Benson is like particularly known for using auto-tune, and if you go on his Wikipedia page, there's literally a sentence that says, Benson stated that he utilizes auto-tune in the studio and that others who don't are nuts. So I think you can hear it on words like when he does like the big prayer and may and same in the beginning part, there's like this effect on his voice.
This war against your faith in me, your life.
Which doesn't like immediately sound like auto-tune, but when you really think about it, it's probably something auto-tune like. And I don't think I noticed that as much in Parade. I think that's really just a Revenge thing.
Yeah.
And then when they switch off for Parade, I feel like that goes away.
Well, Parade, his voice is super compressed. Like, they layered and layered and layered his voice and squished it together. And that's what the effect on Parade is. But yeah, I think that's Benson's influence is the auto-tune.
Yeah, there's just like that. If you're not looking for auto-tune, you might even notice it just sounds like an effect, but it's an effect that's in a lot of Revenge songs. Maybe all of Revenge songs, honestly.
Yeah.
I also have a section of my notes that just in all caps, The Right Channel.
Yes.
Because this is another song I like, The Right Channel.
Please explain.
I will explain. This is another song where if you take your left headphone out and just listen to the right, there's a lot of cool guitar shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. And I think it might be Frank. It sounds very Spanish-y when he's doing like the really fast picking. And so you're like, that might be Ray. But then you hear Ray on the other side later doing a solo that's differently Ray. And you're like, I think that's fucking Frank.
Yeah. We talked about this last time, too, is that Ray, I mean, Frank does way more of the guitar fancies than I think people give him credit for.
And it's so fancy. It reminds me of, like, a classic Spanish guitar song. I don't know. It's really cool and I love it.
Yeah.
Frank and the Fancies.
Frank and the oh my gosh.
Okay, what's the beat?
Wait,
what's the beat?
FB, fancy, I don't know. Vortexes.
Yes, fancy vortexes.
I want it to be fuck vortexes. Because fuck vortices.
Yes. Vortices.
Meridian.
I would love that.
Is that the plural of vortex?
I think
I've got no idea.
I don't know.
I could see
I'm supposed to know English really well, you guys, and I don't know. Vortices. It seems right.
It feels right. I don't know.
It's like vertices, kind of.
Vertices, yeah.
I don't know. Cool. Someone's going to tell us.
Frank Iero and the Frank Vieros.
Vieros.
Anyway.
So, Gerard said once that, apart from Helena, this is probably his favorite song in Revenge.
Yes.
It's also one of my favorite songs in Revenge.
Yeah.
Ray said about this song in the May Death Never Stop You liner notes, really captured a lot about what the band was trying to say about itself. Always expect the unexpected and stay the fuck out of our way. Which are very strong words for Ray.
Raymond!
Yes.
You are hell. Shit.
I love it when Ray's here to fight.
Duke's up, Ray! Duke's up, Toro.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Toro's ready to go.
Getting
the man with the plan and the fisticuffs.
The fisticuffs!
Oh, God. I have been thinking about the phrase fisticuffs, word fisticuffs, whatever, all night, and I was like, God, I hope I have a reason to say fisticuffs when I talk to them, and I just found it. Wow.
Wow, there it is.
I'm so impressed.
Fisticuffs. Yeah. I'm so stoked.
I'm really glad you got
That's
to have
it for me. I'm retiring. Bye, guys.
Patron Saint of the fandom out. Do you have anything else to say about Prison?
I'm good on Prison. Do you have anything else to say, Cassie?
I don't think so.
All right. That's sufficiently covered prison. So, alright.
Next song.
Here it comes.
I'm Not Okay. What a fucking bop.
Tune, mate. Tune.
Absolutely iconic.
This was like one of their breakout songs, but also like the breakout song for
Yeah.
MCR for Revenge at the very least.
Wasn't it like Song of the Summer or something?
Fucking
Yeah.
probably.
Or
Yeah.
it was so funny. They used to say on stage, Gerard would be like, "This song was voted the best summer jam of all time."
Ladies and gentlemen, the number one summer jam of all time.
Your Gerard impression is incredible.
It's incredible.
I'm really good when I do like the stage Gerard voice.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's all the way
but
You got it.
Very yelly.
Oh my
very
fucking
shouty.
god.
Yeah, but no, they used to make that joke, and it did win all kinds of awards, and it really, like, the best summer jam of all time. Sometimes I forget, like, the dumb shit they've said, and it just breaks me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But like, when people think of like 2004, think of this fucking song.
Yeah.
And it's like at every emo night, they'll play this.
Yeah. So my sister and brother-in-law just started getting into the podcast because my sister is like, okay, well, let me listen to MCR since this is something that you've been obsessed with since you were 12, 13. So let me listen to it. She loves them, and she's been listening to the podcast, and she made my brother-in-law listen to it. And I guess they were arguing over, like, how well-known Gerard is, because my brother-in-law posted a poll on Twitter saying, without using Google, how many of you know who Gerard Way is? And it was half and half, literally split right down the middle. They said, yes, I know. No, I do not know.
Well,
And someone commented and were like, yeah, I know who he is. He's not okay.
He's not okay.
Like, that's how people know who he is. They know him because they know this song.
yeah. It's like this or
Welcome to the Black Parade. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's either not okay or young boy.
Yes.
Young man. I said young man. This is going to become my variety hour singing channel.
I can't
Yes.
wait.
Sorry.
That's fine. But okay,
I'm gonna hit the A's too.
Yes.
the reason this song was so genre defining and such a breakout song was because of the fucking video.
Mm-hmm.
This video is iconic. It's another Mark Webb video. I love Mark Webb.
Yeah.
I love too that it's like it was so good that they had to do it twice. Like they put out the
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
with like the shitty little video. I loved the shitty little video
Right.
because it's what introduced them to me. Or me to them. I don't know how to say that. We became a part of each other's existence and spheres
You nailed it.
because of that video. But then they were like, nah, we've got to give this another push. This deserves better. And they got that Warner money, and they
Yeah.
were like,
Mhm.
let's make a goddamn movie with fucking Mark Webb. Holy shit. So, I mean, it's like Lipo Lipo. So nice they named it twice. That's a weird reference, and no one's going to get that, so I'm just going to just forget that.
But they wanted it to look like Wes Anderson's Rushmore, and I think they hit that one.
Yeah.
And I also have a section in my notes for both of the videos that we're going to talk about
Okay.
that's just called Iconic Moments.
Yes.
So here's my list of iconic moments. The intro of Fangoria in
Yes.
D&D. Rated R for Revenge. I see that.
Yeah.
The cuts, like, in the middle of it, like, if you ever felt they would cut to, like, a scenario in the school of, like, a teacher blowing another teacher or something.
Yeah.
Did that. And if you ever felt curious, I like that one too. The cut to Frank picking something off the cheerleader's
oh my
face.
God.
You know, you have something in your eye.
I'm gonna insert that audio
There's
clip
something
too.
in your eye. Yeah. Doink.
Also, can we have an honorable mention for Frank's hair in this
That was
video?
my next one. Okay, yes. Frank's hair, it's so fucking bad. Honestly, it's terrible.
Hey now.
No, it's
Hey,
awful,
now.
but it became like the fashion.
No, it was
Of like
emo
stuck
hair.
up in the back.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
iconic
That was-
emo hair.
everyone wanted to have, like, your angry mom's haircut.
Yeah.
Yes. Your angry mom when
you
she slept on her back.
Yeah. Like the supermarket mom that's like, why can't I use my coupon?
Frank is really sensitive
But, like,
about his
greasy,
hair.
like, really dirty.
Yeah.
Like, they usually, like, the supermarket moms are like, okay, I'm gonna take a bath.
No.
So it's like them minus bath plus no coupon equals anger
Yes.
and boy parts
And black hair dye.
and black hair dye.
Yep.
I think Frank feels very judged for his hairstyles.
Yeah, he gets a little sensitive about them.
But he, like, straight up was like, I might have looked dumb, but y'all are still copying
Yeah.
me.
He's like, yeah, you can judge me, but I was a fashion icon. And that's true.
Yeah, I mean that it's not up for debate. He was a fashion icon, but we will give him shit for it a little bit.
But see, here's the thing. My best friend and I, you know, every time we would see them anywhere, we couldn't figure out how Mikey's hair was parted ever. Like, so, like, let's forget, like, Frank at least had a system.
Yeah.
He had some logic to his hair. But Mikey, like, what?
Mikey's
What
a
was he
free-for-all.
doing? Mikey, like, he just had hair that was shaped the way it was shaped. Somehow.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
These boys and the hairs.
Mikey's hair is chaotic neutral. I feel like Frank's hair is neutral evil. Gerard's hair is true neutral.
Can Ray's be lawful good?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's chaotic
Ray's hair's
good.
definitely lawful good. Oh.
I feel like it's more like, maybe it's like a neutral good because he does put like products in it later on.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, doesn't fiddle with it more than that.
Oh, man.
Fiddle with it. Oh, that's cute.
I'm Southern, leave me alone.
Also, Mikey wearing the glasses over his hair that came down like on the side of his face.
Yes!
Why? What made him think that was a good idea?
Also, not okay video. It's when Gerard washed his hair for that shit.
Yeah.
You can tell.
You can
Like,
tell.
it was clean.
Yeah.
He had clean hair.
You can notice immediately when he washes hair ever.
Yeah.
It looks so different.
Every time you're like, wow, this is a notable event.
God, I actually have later in my notes. But now is the time to bring it up, I think.
Yes.
Ooh. Kerrang! Actually, when Gerard cut his hair for the Ghost of You video, ran a whole ass full page article about the fact that he cut his hair.
Oh my god.
Like, that was like toward the part of MCR's revenge career where
Yeah.
it was getting really fucking weird.
Yeah.
Where it was like, yeah, Gerard cut his hair. Like, is that news? That's news? Oh, okay.
You wrote you had enough words to write an article about it?
Oh my god.
Like,
I hope someone can find me that article. I really want to see that. But speaking of hair, there is a part where Ray gets down towards the camera in the garage and solos, and there's a fan blowing his hair.
yeah,
Love it.
Majestic.
So majestic.
absolutely. And
Okay, so we're making fun of Kerrang for writing an article about Gerard cutting his hair, but like, how long did we just talk about
I
their
know.
fucking hair?
I know.
It is news.
You can't give them too much shit for it, because, like, you can have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
You can have a
I
full...
know what year it is based on what Gerard's hair is.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I can date the band based on Gerard's look. Also, guess what note comes back?
Oh, shit.
Guess what? Hey, it's A again. How about that? It's like repeated.
This bothers you so much.
It doesn't bother me. I really like it, but I just want to know why he gravitates towards that note so much.
I feel like I need to turn on my digital guitar tuner and just like sing into it
Yeah.
and like find all the A's now.
Yep. You know what? I have done that with most of their songs. I'll sit there and I'll listen to it and I'll hit the piano on A every time that he sings it. I'm like, there it is. There it is.
There she is.
2 other points of note in the video.
Yeah.
Gerard's finger gun
Oh, yeah.
when they're leaving.
Yes.
And also that Brian Schechter is in the mascot costume that they tackle. I love that.
I love all the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I love how Gerard was actually singing in the bridge. Like, he was sitting in the chair, he was actually singing, like, which is also what he did for Helena.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to him being like a performance artist where like he doesn't know how to act when he has to pretend to sing or just like sing for no one. So he just like actually sings. I love that part where he's like in the chair and they're dancing around him and he's doing that. And then when they attack Schechter, he actually is screaming.
No.
Like, I just love that he's running out to him and he's just like, "Wah!" Like, what? Jesus. And then, I am the master of the wicket.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I am the master of the wicked.
I love it. I love the videos of him getting tackled multiple times.
The noise he makes when he
over.
gets tackled is probably one of my favorite things. It's just very much like a stereotypical, like, you hit with a linebacker.
Yeah.
Or hit by a linebacker noise. It's just like...
Just involuntary agony.
Yeah.
Momentary and involuntary.
This video is also the reason that people thought Mikey was asthmatic for a long time.
Yeah.
Even though he's not.
Yeah, he's talking in an interview about how someone asked him, I think it was Steven, on Steven's Untitled Rock Show, was like, what's the weirdest thing people have had you sign? And Gerard's was like a wooden stake
Yeah.
to like kill a vampire. And then Mikey brought up that people bring asthma inhalers for him to sign. And he's like, the thing about it is, they don't have asthma, but you bring them, I'll sign them.
Yeah, I think a lot of stereotypes were created from this video. Like them getting bullied in school. That stereotype was definitely created because I think a lot of fans think that Gerard was really bullied when he was in school, but he said he was mostly just ignored. And that
he just like was left alone and he kind of wanted to be alone.
He kind of enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he minded. But this song, interestingly, was actually written about his high school experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, it was, yeah.
He said that. It's
legit.
confusing to me.
I have quotes.
I can't wait.
I have quotes, my dear friends.
Give it to me.
Let's explain it here. So there are a bunch of other things to address in this, but he said in Kerrang, September 2005, it was the most direct song we ever wrote, and the first song I ever wrote about high school. Just all the shitty, sleazy shit that happens when you're there. The sense of being so alone and not finding a girl, and all those shitty feelings you got. At that stage in my life, I was really looking for love. I was always romantic in that regard. I just wanted someone to love me, and that's really what the song's about, that desperation.
Mm-hmm.
How sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah, this is...
I just wanted someone to love me.
He's so sad. And he's very open in this song, like real open.
Yeah.
When they were first making this song, it was just Ray and Gerard like fucking around on guitar and playing. You know, Ray was playing those clean chords, and Gerard just saying "I'm not okay" over and over and over again over it. And they just created the melody from that. And Craig Aronson and Howard Benson pushed this song and were like, "All right, I see the value in this, and I see the value in the idea of the song, but also the melody and how catchy that is and how people will latch onto that." So they really pushed them to make the song and to have them work on it.
Mm-hmm. You know who didn't see the value? Was Jeff Rickley. They played it for him.
You know what?
You don't like it.
Jeff has said some stuff that I'm not gonna get into it.
Oh
He's
my
a nice
God.
guy. I'm not getting into
There's
it.
tea. Holy shit.
Ugh.
Secret tea.
No. It's all tea that you can find in a public forum.
Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah, they played him this song, and he said it's kind of wimpy and weird, and they were hurt. They didn't talk for like a week.
Yeah.
Poor babies.
It's so sad.
Yep.
You know, it's so funny that they pushed for this to be a single, and like going back to some of the earliest times that Gerard talked about it in interviews, he actually said like that it was so poppy, but the lyrics, he made them intentionally even more fucked up because of how it sounded.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you know, if someone thought that we wrote it for a single, and they'd be like, what? If they actually listened to it. because he said if that song gets on the radio, it'd be incredible because of the message and the fact that it's so direct and full of weird shit. But he was like, it's so funny that at the time he was like, if this gets on the radio.
I know, right?
And then it was
Blew the fuck up.
very much on the radio, and no one cared that it was full of weird shit.
Nope.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah,
This is cool.
break your foot. It's fine. What?
Yeah.
Like, okay, remember when you broke your foot? Like, what a line. Like, who's relating to that?
I don't know. But yeah, it's weird because like it became like an anthem for fans of MCR or kids to be like, I'm not okay, and like proudly, I'm not okay. And then it also became something for people who didn't like those kids to be like, look at those fucking wimps.
They're not okay.
Yeah.
It was a straight up emo anthem. It was like a declaration. Like, hey, things are not all cool here. And I'm going to be super open about that. And I don't know what to do to fix it, but like the kids are not all right.
Yeah.
We're not chill.
Yeah. Gerard described it as basically a cry for help set to pop music.
Yeah, that's about right.
It seems like it applies to a lot of MCR music.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this in the interview that I did with you guys, but it's crazy now how people have latched onto it and started to accept it and are like, oh yeah, this song was my childhood, and like going back. For us, it was that sort of rallying cry and that anthem, and a lot of the people now who are like going to these emo nights that you mentioned are like singing along, and they're the same people that used to make fun of us, and I'm like, you don't get it. You don't understand.
Yeah, you don't understand the full depth of the lyrics. Like,
Fucking hypocrites.
yeah. That, like,
you fucking hypocrites.
they were the bullies in the music video, y'all. Like,
You're the sandwich thrower. It's you.
Yeah. You fucking sandwich thrower.
and they brought this to the record company, like the WB execs. They brought the whole album to them, and they listened to it, and they didn't like anything on it except I'm Not Okay. And that's, like, part of the reason they put it on the radio. They were like, oh, well, I guess this is the best one.
Well, sure, I
It's
guess
the
this is what
poppiest
we've
one.
got.
Yeah. Like, I'll never understand why music executives don't want to... I mean, I know why they don't want to take risks is because they think they'll lose money, but how do you excel in music or in a field like that at all if you're not willing to take any kind of risk with any
I don't
band?
know.
Boo.
Radio's garbage.
I've got all the tea.
Oh,
right now,
I can't wait.
but
Can we have a second
We don't
interview where you
need-
spill the tea? Not today, but
I just spilled tea
general.
on the entire music
Yes.
industry and
Yeah.
everything in it.
Exposed.
Yeah. It's even worse now, I imagine, than it was back
Absolutely.
then because no one's making money.
Right.
Mhm.
So if you kind of have to follow the formula to be like, this is, maybe this will work, maybe it won't, but it's tough. There are good people though who are like, I believe, like Craig Aronson,
Mhm.
he brought in The Used, he brought in My Chemical Romance, like he knew and believed in all of these bands that were doing something different. And there are still good people out there who are, giving people a chance, but it is hard to get that chance in the first place now.
Yeah.
So like MCR's story is just crazy that they put out an album and like major labels were like, come to us.
Yeah, they're so lucky. So
Yeah.
crazy lucky. I have one last thing to say about the song, which is that it was originally called I Promise It's the Last Time. And I heard a rumor at some point during my life, but I can't corroborate it, that at one time it was supposed to come last on the album, and it was supposed to be about the suicide of the protagonist of the Demolition Lovers story.
Mm.
I have no idea if that's true.
I
Who
have
knows?
not heard that one.
Nor have I. I haven't
Who
heard
knows? Then it's probably a fucking lie. But I'm throwing it out there.
So I don't know what that is. Oh, I just remembered the demo version where the lyrics are different.
Yeah.
Like, never mind the drugs you took.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
Lassie.
darker before.
Yeah, it was a little bit
A little
darker.
bit darker than remember when you broke your foot.
Yeah. Shall we go on to the next song?
Absolutely.
It's The Fucking Ghost of You. It's my favorite MCR song.
Really?
Yes.
That is my second favorite, I think.
Explaineth me.
I just have a lot of feelings First, the intro plays, okay? And it's so beautiful. I don't know how the fuck they got their guitars to sound that pretty, but they're so gorgeous. And whenever I play this song, I always have to back it up and play it like 2 or 3 more times before the vocals come in.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a nice moment. And it's so different from the rest of the album.
Yeah.
And they keep it going, like, even when the vocals and drums come in, those clean guitars go on for so long. And I'm so thankful. I'm just so grateful for that.
So grateful.
Blessed.
It's definitely the most ballad-like song on the record, but it still has this, like, great emotional high. There's such a good build-up to the end, both, like, lyrically and musically, because when you get to the climax of the song, there are these crazy backing vocals that I'll insert a clip of, but they're just so intense. And they, I think, are really multi-layered or something. I don't know. It always reminds me of A Chorus of Angels, even though I know that sounds way too dramatic. I don't mean angelic.
No. Nothing is... Have you listened to this band you're talking about? What do you mean? What is too dramatic? I don't know that. I don't know that feeling.
It, like, the way his vocals work, it almost reminds you of, like, the sound of an organ. I know there's an organ in there at the very end, but it's just something about... Maybe it's, like, a little bit dissonant. I don't know. It sounds really good, though.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part, and I get feelings.
Yep.
Because I can't, like, listen to it casually. It's an experience.
No, it has to be, like, you gotta sit down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Listen.
There are definitely those songs, like, The World is Ugly. You don't just listen to that song.
Yeah, you experience
You have
that
to,
song.
like, brace yourself.
Yeah.
You just, like, you need to sit down, like, breathe really deeply, and then, like, maybe listen to it. Maybe.
I can't listen to The World is Ugly because I just keep thinking of the live version.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
Yes.
The live version slaps, like, to be honest.
I saw that. So I saw that live, and I remember, like,
I'm so upset right now.
recording it. I'm sorry. I'm such a dickbag. I actually saw them do it in Georgia. Does that make you feel even worse?
Yes, it makes me feel significantly worse. I haven't seen it the whole time.
It was in 2005, and they used to play it. I was so mad at that show because they took out "This Is the Best Day Ever" for Astro Zombies, and I was just like, "Mwah."
You also heard Astro
Anyway.
Zombies live? Wow.
Yes.
I thought I loved you, but I actually hate you. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry for my life. I've tried not to be this way.
I think I can forgive you.
Okay. Yeah, no, but they were playing it live on that tour, and some blessed angel found it or recorded it and uploaded it to the oh god, what was it called? The Immortality Project.
Oh,
which was,
my gosh.
I'm writing it down.
Do you guys remember the Immortality Project?
The Immortality Project.
It had an archive of, like, every live version of every song you could think of, like, all of the articles ever scanned. It was crazy. Like, the girl who ran that, her name was Anna. This is, like, insane. Like, I can't believe she did all of that. It's crazy.
It was really cool.
So yeah, the Immortality Project. So if you guys, like, want that file, I can send it to you.
Yes, please.
Yes.
My head is exploding.
God, how did we get here?
I don't know. Oh, we were talking about songs being an experience. The song is an experience.
Oh, okay.
So, alright, so in our intro for the podcast, the intro music, Kat recorded that guitar, and when she was doing that guitar, I heard some of the isolated guitar melodies, and some of the melodies in Ghost of You are the same melodies as The Secret Goldfish by Pensy Prep. So you can tell that Frank brought those melodies in.
It fucking destroyed me when he showed me that.
You could tell Frank brought those melodies in and was like, hey, I have this from my old band if you guys want to use it. And they were like, hell yeah.
And it is on Frank's part.
Yeah, it's on Frank. So, okay, we're going to insert a clip of this. That saying goes to you.
Yeah, it is.
Lero.
Yeah, I just, Frank doesn't let go of these melodies, and he's really good at coming up, I think, with like guitar riffs and really catchy things, like the Destroyer riff. He came up with that one, and like
just evident by his solo projects. Like,
yes,
it's killer at that. Before we move on to the video, as far as the lyrics, I just want to point out again that there are lyrics that support our theory that the woman is dead, and here they are. Gerard sings, "If I died, we'd be together. I can't always just forget her." So he's gotta fucking die to be together.
Yep.
Because he can't forget her, because she's fucking dead.
Mm.
And he needs to also be dead, so they can be dead together.
Right. Or bring her back to life or something, I don't know.
Or something, but the point is...
He has to kill her.
To kill her.
He wants to take her back to hell with him,
oh my
right?
God.
Oh my.
No, you're wrong.
Oh no!
It's the opposite.
Discourse.
If I died, we'd be together, he says.
So he dies. He goes to hell. He finds out his girl is not there. The devil's like, do this evil shit.
I'll fight you.
I'm just reciting what I've
Cat
read.
versus Demolitia. I will destroy you.
Demolitia!
They won't get that. They haven't heard the
There's no
interview.
context to that right now.
She fucking dead.
She fucking dead.
Oh my God.
Miss Keisha.
Miss Keisha.
Oh my God, she fucking dead.
Oh my fucking gosh, she fucking dead. What if she's dead and she's in heaven and he's in hell?
Ooh.
Oh my
And
God.
they're both dead, but he has to bring her to the underworld because he can't get to heaven.
Wow.
So maybe she's a part of the killings, and that gets her, the hell status.
Hell status.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm in Supernatural right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
People coming back to life, bringing them to hell.
yeah.
I feel like
this story. This is a story about Dean Winchester. And this is a story about a man named Sam fucking Winchester.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like heaven can't be involved in any MCR mythology.
Yeah,
Sure
heaven
can.
help
Heaven
us.
Yeah, heaven
All
help
the
us because you're not in
angels.
heaven.
Yep. Well.
But then there are the angels
Yeah,
and
that's
all
true.
the angels.
Yeah, they sure reference heaven a lot.
They sure do. It's because the woman's up there. I'm
my
making
God.
this up. This is gonna be like a new problem for everyone.
Oh my
Spreading
God.
They're gonna
rumors.
be like, this is the gospel truth.
Yes.
I'm gonna put it on Tumblr. Gerard Way said this. 2K18. They were both dead.
They're both dead.
All along.
That's some chaotic evil shit.
I'm usually like a neutral.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
So the video. Another Mark Webb production.
Yes,
It
Mark
cost
Webb.
so much goddamn money to make.
Yeah.
It cost $500,000.
Oh my
That's a lot of
goodness.
dollars.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
There was an interview where Gerard was talking about not being able to sleep the night before because he was like, it was basically like a gamble. He was like, we just dropped a ton of money on this. And
Yep.
all the guys were like, Gerard was like, I want to do World War II. And they were like, yeah, sure, we trust you.
Oh,
and then
no.
he was like, fuck, what have I done?
Yeah.
It loses us a lot of money.
He's like, if this goes wrong, this is a problem.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna like remake Saving Private Ryan in like 4 minutes, it's gonna cost a lot of money.
But honestly,
Boy.
money well spent.
Yeah, truly.
It's my favorite video.
Yeah, it's one of the best videos.
And it's also one of my first vivid MCR memories was going onto their website and watching this video over and over again. And I definitely cried the first time I saw it when Mikey died.
Yep.
Throwing that out there. I definitely shed tears.
Yeah. And yeah. Here's the thing. Back in the day it leaked and I was like super adamantly against ever watching or listening to leaks because I was like, I wanna coordinate with what the band wants. Like I can't listen to this.
Principles.
I'm not meant to listen to it yet. And I remember the video leaked when they were on Warped Tour and like like the day after it leaked I met Gerard and Mikey and like in my little 15-year-old soul I just wanted to be like I wanted to be like, guys, I'm so sorry the video leaked, because like everyone on the MC Army was like they're so devastated, it's terrible. And I'm like looking back on it, I was like, this is terrible. You are all assaulting them by watching this video. And now I'm like, you guys are just filled with fucking drama. Like, you come on. They are not devastated. They're grown ass men. Right. Come on.
They can take care of themselves.
But yes,
fine.
I do remember being like, meeting them and being like, oh, I bet Gerard is so sad that the video leaked. I bet he's just so sad.
Also, around the same time when this video was coming out, Green Day was coming out with like an anti-war video. Like an anti-war music video, and Gerard got nervous about it, and he was like, oh, I don't want this to be the same thing. I don't want them to think that we're copying them, or like, you know, that we're, I don't know, leeching off their idea. So and they were on tour with Green Day around this time too. So he spoke with Billie Joe Armstrong and sat down with him and watched the video, and he was like, oh, okay, I really love this video. It's nothing like Ghost of You. And he was like, oh, thank God. Yeah, and I also wanted to, while we're on the subject of Green Day, wanted to mention the conversation that he had around this time with Billie Joe Armstrong about being a rock star and kind of accepting that role. Because Gerard, he has said that he's one of those kind of people who's always like, pay attention to me. And then people give him attention. He's like, never mind. And so because he was so in the public eye and people were giving him all this attention, he didn't really know what to do with it or with himself. So, you know, BJA was like, listen, my dude, you're a rock star. You just got to live with it. And people need these kind of people like you to look up to. People look up to rock stars. So if you're the right kind of rock star, you can really embrace this role and do some good with it. And so I think he took that to heart and was like, okay, yeah, I can do that.
I love the notion of the right kind of rock star. Like, that was a very MCR thing where they were like, you have a mic, you have power, like, you need to be responsible for the power that you have. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to make the world better? Are you going to be useless? Are you just going to say nothing?
Yeah.
And I know that was, like, a big thing with them, especially toward the end, is being, like, afraid that they would run out of things to say or that they wouldn't be needed, and then they didn't want that platform.
Right.
But we need you.
We absolutely,
you son of a bitches. Hey, fuckers, have you seen that the world has gone to shit?
Everything is on fire.
Gone?
Yeah.
You have a lot you need to say.
They have a lot of work to do.
That's me every day. Every day this is me.
Yep.
Every day I wake up and I'm like, you have a lot of work to do, Missy.
Because they bat out in, like, Obama era, and I'm like, you don't even know what's coming.
Nope.
Please.
Got a big storm coming.
Know. You got a big storm coming, honey? And then I think that they were like, yeah, 2019 might be a shit show. Let's say that it is.
They were correct.
We're just gonna leave them for dead.
Yep. They were not wrong.
Yeah, we're all dying.
We're prepping for it, though. We're getting ready for the apocalypse.
Speaking of dying.
Doomsday.
Oh, speaking of dying.
Yes, love it.
Speaking of dying, the band also almost died during the shooting of this video. Because they had these, you know, giant boats with doors that swung open. I think they swung open one of the doors once and, like, a fuck ton of water came in. And they pulled the door back up, but there was still, like, way too much water. And so they had to bail and get another boat. And Mikey was really scared because he's afraid of water. And Frank was also really scared because his balls got wet.
Yes.
And then he has got a tattoo of it.
I can't. Okay, so there's a really cute story with this also. So basically the boats are called Higgins boats.
Ooh.
And they actually used the boats from the 1960s in the video. And yeah, right? So, I mean, money dollars, so many. So this was filmed in California, like off a beach in California. And I remember some interview, Mikey was like, for some reason, we had to go into the middle of the ocean to drop the door. But, so here's the catch though. Ray Toro cannot swim. Or at least couldn't swim then.
Right.
I don't know what his swimming abilities are like now. He can't swim. Don't rub it in. He's going to run a little faster.
Oh my goodness.
And so basically, he was like the first off the boat because he couldn't swim. Like, we don't want Ray to die. We need him. We really, really need Ray.
Important.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Everyone else was like, hell no, I'm not getting back on that boat. No fucking way. Like, we're all gonna die. Guess who got back on the boat first and inspired everyone?
Oh my god.
Pure of heart, Angel Ray Toro.
Yes, Ray Toro.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
I don't know.
In a true Gryffindor move.
Yes.
He was the bravest toaster.
I love Ray Toro.
The bravest little toaster. Ray Toro.
Can you believe?
No.
The man with the plan, the toaster.
I like your point about the boats, though, because this video was supposed to be very accurate, and they got veterans and people of that time to consult on how it looked, and they testified. Like, the USO event looks how USO events used to look. And the soldiers in that video, like at the dance, the patches that they're wearing are accurate to the divisions that were actually in the storming of Normandy Beach. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's super cool. I think one of my favorite musical moments that goes along with the video, I don't know if they were thinking about this at the time, but during the breakdown, the you know, where Mikey's about to die, they have rapid snare hits that mimic rapid fire gunshots. And in the music video, they have like an automatic gun shooting at that time also.
That seems intentional.
It seems really intentional. And that is probably one of my favorite parts. I love when they have like the music side of it goes really closely along with the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like really thought out.
With that, there's also a part, I think it's one of the parts where it gets quite so loud.
Yeah.
And there's that transition shot from the ballroom to the ocean, and the ocean like rushes in and like wipes away the ballroom. So good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So good. And the dancers in the ballroom also played the soldiers. So it was like literally you could fucking just whoosh, and there they go.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool. I love this video.
It's so well done.
The dopest.
Other things in this video I liked, besides the fact that everyone looks really great in this video, this look really suits everyone, and especially Frank, who was just made for this. Absolutely made for this. There's also a shot where, like, the love interest of the video looks at Mikey as everyone leaves out the doors, and he's smiling, so unaware of what's going to happen to him. And then it cuts to him, like, behind a barricade, like, psyching up to go run at the gunshots, and he gets shot fucking immediately.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Bye.
Didn't make it far.
You love the part where Mikey dies.
I love
My favorite part of the video is the part when Mikey dies. My favorite part of the video is actually Ray's bad acting.
Yes! He's not good at this.
When he's like trying to save Mikey for 2 seconds and then gives up.
Yeah, like Mikey dies and he's just like, fuck.
Well, we tried.
But you know,
we tried.
Gerard is great at acting though, and he sells it in this video.
Yeah.
He's got that 1,000-yard stare, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, Gerard. It's so funny. They recently asked him if he would potentially have a role in the Umbrella Academy series, and he was like, no, like, acting makes me feel weird.
Oh my
I don't
god,
like
that's
it.
a fucking lie.
He said that he and Gabriel might be like background characters or something.
Yeah. Well, I think most of his issue with acting is that he has a hard time remembering the lines, and he feels weird about, like,
that may be true.
Faking
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But, I mean, he doesn't seem to have a problem faking it in Ghost of You, because, like, that is real.
Yeah, he's like, my baby brother.
Yeah.
That's my
And
baby.
he's, like, screaming and, like, trying to get to him, being held back, and it's just emotional, and I have so many feelings.
I feel that. I also really like the bar scene before Mikey dies, when they're all just, like, being, you know, friendly with each other. I just always imagine them saying, peas and carrots, peas and carrots,
Peas and carrots, peas and carrots.
Over and
Yeah.
over again.
Watermelon.
Elephant.
I think they're not doing that, but God, I just always think about it whenever I see that.
It's funny, like, in the making of the video, you just hear, like, oh,
Yeah.
like, Gerard. That's my Gerard.
Honestly, he might just be making noises.
Yeah, he might just be making random noises.
I mean, that happens a lot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That is a recurring theme.
Speaking of recurring themes,
Oh, shit.
guess what note?
God.
I'm gonna guess a C.
Oh, you'd be
No,
wrong.
I think it's a D sharp.
Oh,
I think
you're
D
not
sharp.
close at all. Yep, that's all I'm gonna say about it. I mean, it's just I just want to talk to him just for a minute. I just have a couple questions.
I want to mention the Watchmen reference.
Yes.
It's the second Watchmen reference we've had so far, because there's another in Bullets.
Mm-hmm.
But the title Ghost of You refers to an ad in the Watchmen for nostalgia perfume.
Mm-hmm.
And the ad line is, "Oh, how the ghost of you clings." So there that is.
There it is.
Just
all of
throwing that out there. I had forgotten about that. I remember the first time I read Watchmen, I was like, oh, I see.
Mhm.
I see what you've done.
see that.
Every now and then I'll read a comic or something that Gerard has referenced that I haven't read yet, and I'm like, aha! Here's how you get that.
Yep, this is what the your inspiration was for this. I see it. I see you. I see you.
I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I think last point that I have that I want to touch on for Ghost of You is the Summer Sonic performance of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've talked about Summer Sonic before, but I think they don't like this performance, but I think it's a really important performance for them, because when Gerard is doing this song, like, you know, video aside and whatever he was thinking about the song and the storyline aside, that, like, it's real for him. You know, he's in Japan and he really, like, he's like, I'm never going home. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the end of the line for me. And it's just heart-wrenching to watch.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's heavy.
I do wonder, because he said before that with Revenge in particular, he had a particular palette in mind for each song and, like, specific images and visuals. And I can't imagine that's always been war-based, you know? So
No.
I want to know what the originals were. I want to know that's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the song is about grief and loss. And sometimes I wonder if it is also influenced by his grandmother.
Yeah.
But he's never said anything about it.
Yeah, it's the song that they've said is definitely just about, you know, the song, the loss and the fear of losing someone. And as far as visuals go, I know that at one point he said, you know, it would be the cliche to, like, have a song with ghost in the title and have, like, this spooky video, like, ghosts and stuff. And they definitely didn't want to do that. So that was for sure never a part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you what wasn't a part of the plan.
That narrows it down. That helps.
Yeah, it does narrow it down a bit.
This song just drives me insane, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good for no reason.
The I always cry. Always. I don't think there's one instance where I haven't gotten, like, chills, at least. I don't always cry. I get chills at the if I fall down part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that down, that little whisper.
Yeah.
I'm just like, sorry, my heart just stopped. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, R.I.P. 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 Demolition. There she goes.
There she goes.
Loss. There she goes. Oh my fucking god, she fucking did. Miss Keisha. Oh, I had one more thing.
Say it.
The revamped version.
Mm-hmm.
The new Ghost of You. How do you guys feel about it?
Wait, do I know about this?
Yes, it's just the acoustic version, right?
Oh, the acoustic.
Yeah,
version.
it's like
acoustic
the
version.
Planet
Yeah,
Land.
Yeah.
I love.
Wow.
I stand.
Yeah,
I stand.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's obviously really different, but I feel that it gives it kind of a different atmosphere and a different vibe for, you know, for him singing it, and also a different vibe for the audience.
I definitely cried.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, the first time I heard it.
It's so crazy that they did literally one acoustic performance in their life.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
that's nuts.
I love that
And
performance.
then they released that acoustic version of Ghost of You, and it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Is this real? It's like so different for them. But yeah, it's strange how it was given a new life. And I always wondered, you know, I always wonder in general how these songs evolve for them as they keep playing them over the years, and from whatever it meant to them in 2004, what did it mean when they re-recorded it then acoustic? It's a question I like to ask bands a lot, because in order to play them over and over and over all those years, they kind of have to evolve with you.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this earlier, like, when the album came out, Gerard was 27, and a lot of, what was going on during the Revenge era, he was 28. And now I'm 28. And I see those songs in a completely different way, and I see them like, oh, like, I wonder, if I'm closer to understanding what was in his head now that I'm, like, the age that it was made. But whatever. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, except just, like, it's crazy that it has been, 14 years, and this is, like, still fresh for us, and it still means something for us, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy talk, my friends.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a little while, is that, now that we're reapproaching and we're really digging in and analyzing their discography, we're the age that, Gerard started out as with this band. He was 24, 25 when he was doing Bullets, and, 27, 28 doing Revenge. And we're around this age, and it's weird to look at these songs and be in the same mindset as, a mid-20s kid, and you're just
right.
you're still a kid, you're just like, I'm lost, I don't know what I'm doing. And
it's kind of horrifying.
It is, and it's a little comforting to know that, like, someone like Gerard felt the same way, but he's doing all right.
I'm not as talented
yeah,
as
for
Gerard.
Sure. Like, I'm definitely at a part of my life where I am sort of feeling like, oh God, like, what do I do with myself now? Like, am I over? Like, I don't know. Like, what else is there left for me to do? Right. And, like, it is definitely a comfort being like, okay, like, he was just as confused as I am at this age. And, like, when I was 15, it resounded with me in the same way. But now I'm like, oh, like, I actually, I have a chance still in life, you know?
The good part isn't over. There's still, like, more stuff to come.
There's still more stuff. That's a nice thing to remember every now and then.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
I feel like we should end on that note.
Yes.
It's very hopeful.
It is. So.
That is hopeful.
It is.
I try.
So, well, thank you so much for speaking with us today. It has been amazing.
We were so excited to get you on the podcast.
I am so excited to be on the podcast. I live alone, and I like my friend that I went to all these things with is, like, so far away, and like, no one wants to hear me run my mouth, but you guys do.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
So here we are.
We will wrap up then. So we will say goodbye to Cassie, and thank you so much for speaking with us. And I am so sure that we'll be speaking with you again.
Oh yeah,
sometime soon.
Thank you for inviting
You're
me.
So
and
welcome.
As I'm leaving, it's starting to thunderstorm.
Okay.
So you remember how, like, MCR used to say during the Revenge era, every time they went to LA, it would rain?
Yes.
I feel like there's something to be said here, that a storm is starting as we're ending our conversation.
I feel like that's an omen. A good omen.
Like the vampires.
Definitely a good omen.
Very good.
All right. We will talk to you later.
All right. Fare thee well, sweet maidens.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. So that is it, my friends.
For the second Revenge episode.
What a banger. What a time.
We love Cassie.
Yes, we do.
In the meantime, if you want to keep up with us, which you definitely do, follow us on the socials. Twitter @ChemicalFancast, Instagram @ChemicalFancast, Facebook MyChemicalFancast. If you want to email us, a fanecdote, which we will get back to you, I swear to God. The next episode, we'll do fanecdotes. Or anything else you would like, except for mean criticism. Our email is mychemicalfancast@gmail.com.
If you would like to leave us a review on iTunes to help people find the podcast and to make us feel good about ourselves.
Give us some moral support.
Moral support is always nice. You can review us on iTunes, and it would be super appreciated. And you'd be a friend of the podcast. You'll be my friend.
And my friend. So I think that's all for now.
Yes, it is.
And I'm Kat.
I'm Haley.
And we'll see you next time. Toodaloo.
Yeah, toodaloo.
Bye.